Oh, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really badly. Yeah, that was my Heath Ledger Joker mask I bought when The Dark Knight came out. I thought it was appropriate for the review, because the Joker's in the movie, and so is Batman. And this is my Dawn of Justice Batman t-shirt. I thought this was also appropriate for the review. So let's get down to the review, shall we? My Captain's Cup. Let's get down to the review. And this is a summary of what goes on in the movie. Okay, it says here, a secret government agency recruits a group of imprisoned supervillains to execute dangerous Black Ops missions in exchange for clemency, which inevitably leads to chaos. And I thought, now, if you want my opinion, what I think of this movie, I'll tell you what I think. I think that there were some things in this film that I thought were good, and then there were some things in this movie that I just didn't like. Now, I thought that I love the action scenes, the fighting scenes, the explosions, the characters. I thought the characters did really well. What I had a problem with was the unevenness of the story, because what I found annoying and distracting was that as you go along and following the story, you start having all these flashback scenes. And I just felt, I can understand in the beginning of the movie, one of the characters, a woman named Amanda Weller, that's the character's name, she was talking to a military guy, a general or a admiral or whatever, I can't remember what he was, but she was explaining to him about who these characters were, the groups that she was going to put together, their, everything about them, and how they got arrested, how they got stopped, how Batman busted them. And when she was doing that, they were showing flashback scenes, which I thought was a brilliant idea. I mean, that is understandable. I mean, it's always good to have flashback scenes when you're describing, a character's describing something. But the thing was, when the movie started to kind of go deep into the story, what ends up happening is that you have more flashback scenes, more thought scenes, dream scenes. I know that in Dawn of Justice or Man of Steel had flashback scenes, but it didn't bother me that much. Really, there was no problem for me. Dawn of Justice, I can't remember. I think there was maybe one dream scene, but it didn't really bother me that much. I didn't really notice those. But in this movie, it's very, very noticeable and very distracting and annoying. So I can understand what the critics are saying when they give this movie a bad score. I thought that characters did very well. I thought that Jared Leto's Joker did very well. One thing I noticed about his Joker was that it was like a combination of Heath Ledger's Joker and Jack Nicholson's Joker. So I'm thinking that probably what Jared Leto did was he watched 1989 Batman and The Dark Knight to get an idea of how to do his Joker, and I could see a little bit of a mixture there, and he did very well as far as that goes. And as far as the Joker's screen time, leading up to the movie, I had always heard that people were saying that the movie, you don't see the Joker that much in the movie. He doesn't have much screen time. But I think he had about enough, a fair amount of screen time. He does bounce in and out in scenes. During the flow of the movie, there's times he'll bounce in and out. And Jared Leto has even said that his Joker had more screen time, but a lot of stuff was cut out. We'll just see when the Blu-ray and DVD comes out. But I'm not, and I think that what's her name? I keep forgetting her name. Margaret Robbie, Harley Quinn. I think she did a good job. I think she was perfect for it, for the part. I think that Will Smith's Deadshot was good. I think all the characters did good, but I did have problems with certain things. the unevenness of the story, and stuff like that. The film feels definitely like a film for the millennials. It definitely a movie for people in their early 20s, late teens, and even in times it even felt like a cult film. But it's still a very interesting one at that. And one of the things that I feel why the story was uneven in areas is because of the reshoots. I mean, if you all remember, like months ago, when Dawn of Justice came out, there was complaints, where you had these critics, making these comparisons with Marvel. While Dawn of Justice, it wasn't lively enough. It wasn't colorful enough. It was too dark. There wasn't enough one-liners and jokes. And that movie got a lot of bad reviews. And then what happened was Warner Brothers stepped in. The studio stepped in. And that's always not a very good thing when the studio steps in and interferes with the progress of production. I think they came in and they started doing reshoots, and that messed up the whole thing, and it made it seem uneven in areas. And why not stick with a darker tone? I mean, you have characters in it that are from the Batman universe, the Batman world. Harley Quinn, the Joker, Deadshot, etc. And the movie seemed like it took place at nighttime. It seemed like, just like you'd see in the Tim Burton movies. It was a dark world, so I think the dark tone would have been good. Yes, you have to have a little humor in there, but at the same time, it probably would have been good to stay with the darker tone. The reason why it didn't, I think one of the reasons why it didn't work with Batman v Superman is or Dawn of Justice, is because Superman is not a dark world character like Batman is. And that's why that film didn't gel. You're taking two different worlds and trying to mix them, and it just didn't gel right. But Suicide Squad is a dark world, and it belongs in the universe of Batman. Batman was in the movie in different flashback scenes. I think the thing is they should have stuck with what they were doing, and not do these reshoots and redos and all that. It just messed up the film, I think. And I give this, I think that the critics though are too harsh on this film. I think 26% is a little too harsh. I think I would give this film a 76%, 75%. Like I said, there were good things I liked about it, but there were things I did not like about it. I don't think it belongs in the 80s and 90s percentage mark areas. I do think it should be somewhere in between. I think that's all it was an average movie. So if you go into this movie, I would go into this movie with low expectations. Because if you're going in there thinking you're going to see a great film, a great comic book film, you'll be disappointed. There's things in there that you can enjoy, but at the same time, there are things in it that are just, uneven. I thought that was very distracting. The flashback scenes it just wasn't necessary. I think they could have done a lot better with that. But I got to say though, it's kind of not a very good start for Warner Brothers right now, because this is the third, in this new DC Extended Universe world, this is the third film in a row that's gotten a rotten. I don't think Man of Steel deserved a rotten. I love that film. Batman v Superman, I liked it and thought it was fun in moments, but I know it wasn't perfect, and I realize that now, but I still kind of liked it, but it got a rotten. Suicide Squad had its problems, and it got a rotten. Because of that, Warner Brothers now is 0-3. And this is not a good start for them. It's really not a good start. I don't, maybe some of it does have to do with the critics, because the critics, I see a lot of critics making Marvel and DC comparisons during their reviews, so it's probably probably some of that is true, but I don't think it's entirely true. I don't think they're all out to, I don't think they were paid off. I don't think they're all out to get DC and Warner Brothers. But anyways, yeah, the movie was good. I mean, it was kind of good. I want to say it was good, but it's hard to say that because of the unevenness areas of it. And so they fight some villains in this movie that are, like I said, the Dark World. Or I thought they were going to fight Dark Thugs in this movie. But they actually fight villains that have godlike supernatural powers. You'll see the movie when and so yeah, the movie was all right. That's all I can say about it. It was all right. It was okay, but it wasn't great. 26% is too harsh. But then again, I would just give it an average review. There's things there to enjoy, but there's also things there that are disappointing and distracting and annoying. So that's my review. And everybody, talk to you until the next review.